This is Dr. Loretta again, and today we're going to be talking about a very special testimony of a little boy that the Lord healed. And I put it in my book, and I want to talk to you about my book also. I wrote this a couple of years ago, and it's called Is Anybody Up There? Now, everyone always says the first question they ask is, why did you name it Is Anybody Up There? Because when I was 4 years old, we were in Arkansas, and I didn't really like it. To be right honest, I didn't like it. So I went outside one day, and I looked up at the clouds, and I said I would give anything in the world if someone was up there that could get me out of this godforsaken place. I was 4. You know how 4 years old has a lot of wisdom. And so I kept looking at the clouds, and the clouds split, and I heard this deep voice. It sounded like it thundered. And he said, I am God, and I am here. So that was my first encounter of knowing that there was a God. And so every day I would run outside, and I'd look up at the clouds, and I'd talk to God. And I would tell him I wanted him to get me out of Arkansas and take me to Dallas. We already had some brothers and sisters that had left home and moved to Dallas. So I wanted to go to Dallas. I didn't want to be on the farm. I didn't like farming. I didn't like dirt in my nails and my toes and all of that. So I was making my plea to God to get out. So when I wrote the book, I told about, which I haven't told yet, but when I was in my early 20s, I also died. I was dead in a doctor's office here in Dallas, which I could take you to if you came to me. It's still there. And I went to heaven, and I took a full tour of heaven, saw my relatives, talked to Jesus. Jesus took me into the throne room, introduced me to God, and then he gave me a heart of a 13-year-old child, and he sent me back to earth, and he said I would help bring the last end-time harvest. So that's why I titled my book, Is Anybody Up There? And I tried to get some folks to help me to publish it, and they wanted to change my heaven experience, and I said no. So I self-published it myself so that the heaven experience would be told. The testimonies in the book would be told just like it happened. I'm a person, I want the truth. I don't want somebody taking something out of context and saying things that didn't. So you can order my book, and the announcer will tell you at the end of the program. But today, in my book, I did a testimony, and I'd like to tell you about it. I flew to Minneapolis, Minnesota to do a crusade for a friend of mine, Dr. L.D. Kramer. And so when he picked me up, he said, Dr. Loretta, could you go to the hospital and pray for a little boy that the doctors say is really bad and they don't give him much hope to live? And would you go to the hospital and pray? And I said, sure, LD. So he rushed me over to the hospital, and I went in, and we're going to show you the picture of the little baby. I've got it in the book. And I laid hands on the child. I think he was about maybe like 18 months. And I met the mother and dad both. And so I laid hands on the child, and I felt the power of God, and I knew that gift worked. And so I said, your little boy is healed. And in a few days, they will tell you you can take the child home. Well, they did. They checked the child, and they told the parents that the baby was healed. And they let the little boy go home. Well, the little boy was 18 months. I'm going to show you his picture. And now he's 18 years old. He lived all these years, cancer-free. But when the Lord healed him, he kind of went out under the Spirit of God for a few minutes. And the Lord healed his body, and he gave him the talent to be a classical violinist. And he started playing the violin when he was just a few years old. And he has a brother, and he plays the guitar. So they do a little duet, plays even in concerts. And so he's 18 years old. He owns his own car business. And he's playing his violin, and he's lived all these years cancer-free. And he's just a beautiful young man. And When I go to Minneapolis, the first time after the Lord healed him, I was standing up and I was getting ready to minister, and this little boy came running down the aisle. It was a beautiful little boy. And he came right up to me, and he just jumped right up in my arms, and I caught him. And I had to hold on to him, and I said, my son, and he said, he kind of like this, he said, do you know who I am? And I said, no, I guess I really don't. He said, you don't remember me? I'm little Joey. I'm the one that got healed. Of course, everybody in the room just started crying. It was the first time I'd seen him since he'd gotten healed, because it'd been a couple of years. And so he just made his appearance. And so over the years, when I go back to Minneapolis, and I've gone pretty often, we love to do crusades there, just a phenomenal crusade. He'll usually always come. And sometimes they've invited me to come out to their house, and he plays the violin for me, and then they fix me a lovely lunch. And his parents are just lovely and beautiful, and his brother. And, you know, I put the testimony in the book, and sometimes I find myself, I just get my book and I look through the testimonies just to remind myself what the hand of God does. You know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says this, and the Lord told me this one when I was early ministry. He said, you shall always be glad when you see the works of my hand. And you know, when I see these miracles, you know, this young man, he's lived now 18 years, not 16 years, because he was 2, I believe, when I prayed. 16 years, cancer-free, but he would have died had not God performed the miracle. And when I think about that, I look in the book, and, you know, when I did the book, this was something very unusual. The Lord also said, he said that when people read my book, he said, I'm going to put this book around the world. And when people read your book, I will anoint this book, and people will get healed just reading the book. So we've had, now the book's been out a couple of years, we've had hundreds of people that has written us and told us they read the book and got healed reading the book. But I had a direct word from God. He said, I will do with this book what I did with Catherine Kuhlman's book, I Believe in Miracles. And do you know, he did, and God is no respecter of person. What God did for Catherine Kuhlman in her book, I Believe in Miracles, and what he's done for mine, God will do for you, because God is God. And you know what? All of us have access to God. That's the great thing about our Father. He said, whoever comes to God can be a child of God. Whoever comes to God has all the benefits that God is. I'll never forsake you and never leave you. I just taught on that a couple of days. He never leaves us. In our worst trial, he never leaves us. He's always there. And you know what he's there to do? To love us, comfort us, do whatever needs to be done. People say to me all the time, well, what does God do? What do you think God's about? I said, God's about doing anything that needs to be done. That's what God's about. He takes care of everything because he loves you. So you can order my book. You order the book. You can go to our website, and the announcer will give you the website address. You can order it right through the website, and we'll get it in the mail. We try to get these out real quick to you. Anybody up there? So I've proven, because the doctors, after I maybe tomorrow I'll talk to you about heaven. I'll tell you about when I went to heaven, what they said when I came back. But today, I wanted to talk to you about little Joey. I have the cutest picture in here we're going to show you. Someday, when we do a crusade, we'll fly Joey in. I'll have him play the violin for you. How's that? But I'll let you know ahead of time so you won't miss it. So this is Dr. Loretta, and I'd like to say I thank you for listening to these messages, and they're encouraging to you. Send us an email, give us a phone call. They'll give you the 800 number. And if you want to help us with this next crusade, we're working on getting ready. We need a lot of help, ushers, and we need a lot of finances also, because we're doing it with much bigger than we normally do it. And you just contact us. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. I love you.